OECS leaders say border security is a priority in light of recent terrorist attacks. Regional leaders contemplate tackling a uniformed single health space. And WOW in favor of prompt acquisition of DCP to reduce the impact of job loss on employees. I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. The details coming up. Topping the news, the OECS community can rest assured that OECS ministers of security are working together to increase the security of its borders. That's the word from the Grenadian Prime Minister, who is the chair of the OECS authority. He says every single nation must take notice of the recent terrorist attacks.
We are our ministers of security, and certainly will be working and have been working closely together to confront any possible problems we may have. Hopefully we'll continue to remain the zone of peace in the world community, and we certainly will have to take every step possible to ensure that we do not have those occurrences. That was not an item on the agenda, but there were discussion on the fringe of our meeting.
Meantime, Tourism Minister Robert Tong is of the view that there is no real threat to Dominica.
We're not too worried, but again, these people are very good at what they do. And as you will see, just as recently, some persons were trying to fly through St. Martin with fake passports. So we definitely have to be extremely vigilant in every single island, because traditionally people come to other islands before they come to us. So that in itself puts us in a better position that we can. There's multiple screenings that are done before someone actually gets to Dominica. So we have to be truly vigilant to ensure that our country is safe.
OECS heads of government have recognized the need for a more unified single health space to satisfy the region's health needs. The leaders of Caribbean states have discussed attempting a single health space for the region.
We may be duplicating in many ways a lot of services and with the limited resources. For example, the question of a dialysis unit, it is very difficult for each country. I have the challenge in Grenada at this time. Very difficult for us to meet the dialysis needs of the population at this time in Grenada. But maybe if we have one serious unit in one country and we all service it and pay towards that, the upkeep of that unit, will have the best unit, and that all our people who have the need for the service will get that optimal service.
Discussion on a single OECS health space was also on the agenda of the 61st meeting of the OECS heads in June.
Given the tremendous amount of resources required to satisfy our health needs in the region, is for us to develop one uniform health space, and especially in light of the fact that we have this freedom of movement issue. There's no way we'll be able to stop the spread of any serious problems in the region and health if we do not have that uniform health policy and health initiative.
Meantime, Prime Minister Skerrit has also used the 62nd OECS heads meeting platform to advocate for a regional health insurance scheme.
For a population of 600,000 people, I believe this is an ideal constituency for that kind of consideration, because too many of our citizens are finding it difficult to finance healthcare. We've seen people with vast bank accounts have reduced to zero or even to loans to finance their healthcare. But what about those of us who are unable to contract a health insurance program? What about those of us who do not have resources in the bank to reach out to? And I dare say I believe that constituent group is in the majority. And therefore we have to find a way of bridging that gap with regards to our health and our healthcare financing.
In other news now, the trade union representing staff of Colgate-Palmolive DCP is in favor of a prompt acquisition of the plant to cushion the effects of job loss there. Iduna John Baptist reports.
94 employees of the Belfast-based company will be made redundant effective November month end when Colgate-Palmolive shuts its doors on island. The company is the country's biggest manufacturer involved in production and packaging of soaps and other detergents. A 5-member delegation of DCP's management met with head of the Waterfront and Allied Workers Union, Curtis Augustus, on Thursday morning after formally informing staff of the expected closure. Augustus says he was surprised since he anticipated production would have commenced late December to early January.
They informed us of the decision to close the plant. They also indicated that some 94 workers would be impacted and that they are preparing the severance package for the 30th of this month, after which they would engage us in some discussions in relation to the package.
Prime Minister Skerrit has said that his government has made a proposal to the principals of DCP Colgate-Palmolive to acquire the Belfast plant. Augustus says management informed them of the intention to seek a potential buyer for the operation, which is hoped to continue production of soap hair.
If in the management's effort to secure a potential buyer, if that could be done as speedily, as quickly as possible, with the operation restarting as soon as possible, then that to a certain degree will cushion the impact. We are aware that they are in fact engaging the administration in discussions in relation to the operations of the employment operations that the government has, and to see where in fact some of those impacted workers could be absorbed. If those things come through, then it is going to be easier for the employees of DCP.
WAHU is calling for financial institutions to be patient about the employees' situation since their commitments would have been serviced through salary deductions.
We were concerned from the standpoint that would have a massive impact on WAHU, because for every one person that is engaged, some 4 others are dependent on them. So you are talking in terms of approximately 300 persons that would feel the effects of that closure.
Plant manager Edmund Bash could not provide a comment on the situation up to news time since he had to consult with Colgate-Palmolive's communication arm. The US-based corporation Colgate-Palmolive acquired controlling interest and took over DCP in 1995. Idona John Baptist, Channel 5 News.
In police news now, a former employee of the National Credit Union has been arrested and charged for theft of over $33,000 at that institution. Dwight Timothy appeared before Chief Magistrate Candia Carret George Friday, where the charge was read to him. He was not required to plead. He was placed on bail in the amount of $30,000. He is represented by lawyer Kondwani Williams. As part of his bail conditions, he was required to surrender all his travel documents, driver's license, social security card and passport, and is to report to the Roseau Police Station Monday, Wednesday and Saturday between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. He has also been ordered to refrain from interfering with prosecution witnesses. And this matter has been adjourned to April 15 next year. And Dominica's endeavors to increase the literacy level among school children has received a significant boost. Andrea Louis reports.
The Hands Across the Sea program recently donated 8,950 books to the Ministry of Education. These books will assist approximately 3,970 children in 29 pre-primary and secondary schools across the island.
And what is even more important is that the material spans across the education system from early childhood, primary to secondary. And that is critical because many times we receive material which cater to a selected group of students. In this case, we have a wide span of the material spanning across the system. We are also very appreciative of the fact that, as said by the chairperson, the material is contextually relevant. And that is important for small island developing states, that the material that students are exposed to relate to the cultural imperatives that they face on a day-to-day basis within the communities, within the sub-region and within the region as a whole.
The Hands Across the Sea initiative seeks to increase literacy levels through their Caribbean Literacy and School Support Program, CLASS. Blaise says the reading material can help raise the literacy level among boys.
We are well aware that we have sort of a gender disparity in students learning, particularly with respect to literacy and also numeracy. What this does, it really caters to the interest of our boys. So it provides that gender balance in terms of the reading material that they're exposed to. And we are sure that our boys in the various schools at the various levels would be enthusiastic to interface and interact with the reading material, and consequently it will certainly improve in terms of the reading performance.
Hands Across the Sea has been operating in the region for 8 years and has been working in close collaboration with the Lions Club of Dominica. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
You're watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, the men who have been recognized for their bravery during Tropical Storm Erika. Thank you for staying with us. A consultation to create a framework for better care of the Soufriere-Scott's-Head Marine Reserve, SSMR, got underway Friday. Here's more on that.
This was the culmination of several activities held over the past few weeks regarding the SSMR. A communication strategy and plan implementation for the Soufriere-Scott's-Head Marine Reserve was discussed at the National Validation Consultation.
What we hope to achieve is that people will agree that the components outlined in the management plan, that all the various stakeholders agree that these should be part of management strategies for the SSMR. And we're specifically looking at the sustainable financial management of the SSMR, with LAMA being the lead, supported by the various stakeholders and of course by government through the legal and institutional arrangements.
The consultation and the series of activities was organized by the Caribbean Aquaterrestrial Solutions, CATS, which is a German-funded initiative.
Under the CATS project, we have been exploring the legal and organizational framework which governs the operations of the SSMR. The Local Area Management Authority, which is LAMA, has had some challenges in the effective management of the Marine Reserve, and so we did some research to look at what are some of the challenges, what caused the challenges, and we realized that a lot of it stemmed from a lack of support from the legal and organizational framework under the marine reserves in Dominica.
Implementation of the management plan, the setting up of operating structure of LAMA, and the management of the SSMR are expected to take place following Friday's consultation.
Management is ongoing, so the plan is not a short plan for 1 year or 6 months. The plan is for long-term use and of course for review. So maybe after the first 3 years you would do a review and see if the strategies that have been used, are they working? Do we need to readdress? And again, you might have rising issues, new challenges that would need to be included as well.
CATS is looking to build capacity within LAMA so that it can sustain itself when project funding ends in 2017.
And the Maho Senior Citizens Home has been described as one of the top institutions for elderly care in Dominica. Louis Graham Carter tells us why.
This is the time of the year when the President of Dominica makes his yearly donations to charitable institutions around the island. On Friday, His Excellency President Charles Savre complimented the management of the Maho Senior Citizens Home.
I have said and continue to say that this is in fact one of the better kept, presented, organized, managed retirement homes that we have on the island. It is really a pleasure to visit this institution.
On Thursday, the President visited Operation Youthquake. On Tuesday, 24th November, he will visit the Grotto Home, and at later dates, the Alpha Center, Workshop for the Blind, the Dominica Infirmary, the Northern District Home for the Aged, and the Care for the Elderly in Portsmouth.
Presently, we have 5 residents. This year, 3 of our residents passed, they died, and we still have space to take on other persons. But we cannot do it on a free of charge basis. Many persons would like to come in, but they keep saying that they have no money. At the same time, we need money to run the operations of the home, and that is key. And even though we reduce on the rate, we cannot do it on a completely free of charge basis. So the contributions that you continue to make over the years, and plus other institutions or organizations that continue to lend a hand to us, we have been able to use that for the general operations and upkeep of the home.
The President's Charities Foundation was started by the late President Nicholas Liverpool.
And men from communities severely affected by Tropical Storm Erica have been recognized for their heroic efforts displayed during the storm.
The ceremony to award these men was held by the Bureau of Gender Affairs as part of World Men's Day. Dominica's theme this year is working together for men and boys in recovery of Tropical Storm Erica.
The theme speaks volumes, bringing greater awareness to issues that affect men and boys worldwide, including men's shorter life expectancy, the comparatively high male suicide rate, society's apparent collective tolerance of violence against men, the struggles boys currently face in education systems, and the unique challenges of father-child relationships. The phrase working together for men and boys also means that we need to do things as a collective. As a nation and as a region, both civil society and the state need to come together to address the issues that men themselves face, as well involving men in the whole process. So if we are to empower our women to rise above the challenges that they face, but if we are to empower women to rise above those challenges, we also have to honor the good men that are among us. The men who are the fathers of their children, the men who are the economic partners, and the men who are also emotional pillars. Our men were able to utilize their own resources and their human skills to save the lives of neighbors, of children, of the elderly, whilst risking their own lives, dealing with their own grief, and temporarily abandoning their own families. That is what true community spirit is about.
Men from the areas such as Dubic, Coliho, Good Hope, Pishley, Colibistri, and Maho were chosen by their village councils for the special recognition.
And a group from St. Vincent has partnered with the Bath Estate Disaster Committee to donate over $14,000 to residents of Paradise Valley affected by Tropical Storm Erica.
The MRI 6 group comprised 6 professionals who got together to stage fundraising events to make meaningful donations. Dominican-based representative of the group, Ronald Lander, says his colleague and member of the group contacted him with the intention of assisting a community affected by the storm.
Given the extent of devastation in Dominica, my professional friends were moved sufficiently to make those funds available to us in Dominica. It is with great pleasure that I am able to facilitate those funds to be delivered to the Bath Estate Disaster Committee. The first thing we're going to do is to sign an agreement between the MRI 6 group of St. Vincent and the Bath Estate Disaster Committee.
PRO of the Bath Estate Disaster Committee explained what the funds would be used for.
The check is given to us by the MR16 group based in St. Vincent by the representative in Dominica, Mr. Ronald Lander, in the sum of $14,985. It will be used to purchase household items to at least 35 persons affected by Tropical Storm Erica.
Immediately following Tropical Storm Erica on August 27, Paradise Valley, among other communities, was declared a disaster zone by the government of Dominica.
And finally, the Ross University School of Medicine is currently hosting its annual Art and Craft Expo. All proceeds will go toward relief for schools in the north. The expo started on Friday and continues on Saturday between 10 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon. This exposition, which showcases Dominica's top artists and food, is also open to the entire public. You're watching Channel 5 News. Kenny Williams is next with your sports highlights.
We start off with cricket. England and Pakistan played their 4th test match in Dubai, with England winning by 84 runs. The English team batted first to amass 355 for 5. Butler collected a whopping 116, while Roy secured 102 in 40.4 overs. Then it was Pakistan's turn at the crease when they replied with 271 all-out, with Malik scoring 52 and Azam adding 51. Mohamed Irfan and Azhar Ali took 2 wickets each for Pakistan, while Adil Rashid and Moeen Ali picked up 3 each for England. We kick off football with 2 doubleheaders carded for Benjamin Park as round 1 of the DFA Lime Premier League comes to an end this weekend. And finally, Maho, Portersville, Loda, Girondelle, Portsmouth and Rivière Syrique are the venues selected for some rounders action on Sunday. Stowe & Co hard hitters will clash against Vikings Reformers at Maho, while over at Portersville, Dubic Strikers and St. Joe Phoenix will be delivering some bat and ball action. Maxtroy Conquerors will be hoping to stay true to their name when they confront Loda Lake Stars at Loda. Tremors will come up against their rival AGS Dynamic Stars over at Girondelle. Meantime at Portsmouth, the Portsea Rock Stars will be banking on home advantage to defeat Mafia Battlers when the teams clash. And over at Rivière Syrique, it will be Matadors versus Domsetco NCCU. All matches are expected to begin at 11. That's all the time we have for sports. Join us again next time.
And some instability in the weather expected this weekend. Details in your weather report next.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. Today's satellite imagery continued to show a dissipating frontal boundary producing some cloudiness across the central and extreme southern portion of Valles Antilles, with Dominica reporting increasingly cloudy skies by midday into this afternoon.
To be followed by
radar imagery indicated scattered showers mainly across the central portion of the island chain. Tonight's weather is expected to be partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy with a few scattered showers.
While at 5
Similar
p.m.
conditions can be expected into tomorrow. Marine conditions moderate in open water with waves peaking near 5 feet. Some caution is advised with northerly swells approaching Valles Antilles. For the next 3 days, expect occasional cloudy skies and scattered showers due to some weak unstable conditions. For the remainder of the Caribbean, occasional cloudy skies and scattered showers can be expected into tomorrow. For the international cities forecast, clear skies can be expected in New York, some thunderstorm activity in Miami and Caracas, and some snow in London and Beijing. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:10 a.m. and set at 5:32 p.m. For additional information, feel free to contact us at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Thank you for viewing and have a good weekend.
And that's news. The headlines again. OECS leaders say border security is a priority in light of recent terrorist attacks. Regional leaders contemplate tackling a uniform single health space. And WOW in favor of prompt acquisition of DCP to reduce the impact of job loss on employees. You can email us at news@mapping2k4.com. You can also access our past newscasts on our YouTube page. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Do have a good weekend.